Rocksteady, Bebop, bring me those turtles. Will do, boss. And Will, clean your room. What? Okay, people, welcome back to another Fwoosh review. Today, let's take a look at the Target exclusive NECA Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Wave 2 Bebop and Rocksteady. First up, I have to give a special thanks to Unparalleled Universe. He sent this out for me. He found it at his store. He was like, hey, I got an extra. You want one? I'm like, hell yeah. Because when Target first put the Turtles up on their website, they only had the three 2-packs, the 4 Turtles and the 2 Foot Soldiers, not Bebop and Rocksteady. I ordered them. I haven't even received them yet. Unparalleled got them to me before I even got my regular Turtles. So I'm just looking at Bebop and Rocksteady. Any other time I would say, hey, let's look at all these 2-packs. Not this time. Looking at the package, it's very turtle inspired. It's what we saw with the Wave 1, I think it was. I never saw those much. Big window, it shows most of what you're getting. The graphics down here don't really match the art from the cartoon. So anyway, it's the trash between me and plastic. On the side, promotional shot of Rocksteady. On the back, same thing of Bebop and Rocksteady. And then the other turtles down here. Big O bio. Not what we're used to seeing on the back of action figure packaging, but that's okay. You can't have too much, as we've seen from what is it, Amazing Yamaguchi stuff, but they're just giving you info. On the other side, promotional shot of Bebop, because Bebop's on this side of the package. On the top, big old Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles logo, Nickelodeon, warning, choking hazard, don't put them in your mouth. On the bottom, pretty plain, UPC, and then credits, another thing you don't see on a lot of action figure packaging. Fun fact, photography is Fwoosh photographer Matt K, so he took the pictures for the promotional shots on the side and stuff. Just throwing that out there. I love Matt K. He's awesome. So, let's get this heavy box open, see what's going on here. And we got some double tray action going on here, mostly the extra hands. And twist ties, figures from an old school cartoon get old school treatment. Getting them out of the package, there is a fragility. I hate to say that, because once you get past that with a little prep, they're pretty durable. There's a sensitive side under their tough exteriors, if you want to put it that way. But holy moly, getting them in hand, it's like the cartoon come to life, which is weird to say for an 80s cartoon, but man, that's how I'm gonna put it. The sculpt work is appropriately soft, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, it's matching the cartoon in that way, but at the same time, everything's where it needs to be. Everything's kind of precise. This is supposed to be a leather band with studs, but it's plastic, of course, but then you get to the chains, and those are actual chains hanging around the waist, hanging around the wrist. The waist isn't too bad. It's attached to the body here on the front, and then it goes around the back. But on the wrist, it's a little bit floppy. It kind of has a mind of its own. It wants to do its own thing, but there are hooks in the plastic right here. I was only able to get one of the chains hooked up there, but that also keeps it from coming down around, and it comes into play whenever you want to take the hands off. But once I got it hooked there and it stays up a little bit, it can do what it wants. If it wants to hang down there, I'm okay. The pants are a little bit plain, appropriately so. The shoes, I like the detail here because it stands out against the rest of the body. Well, there's red up here, but these are just blam, red, and the white especially. Nice sculpt, but the work is done by the paint mostly. And again, that brings it into the cartoon realm. That reminds you of that old series that you used to watch as a kid. I love the heavy black lines doing the detail work of the grooves in the sculpt, especially on the turtle shells on the shoulders. You have a couple grenades right here, the bandolier coming across. On the back, very plain, but again, there's that heavy black lines just in what little sculpt work there is, bringing it out. But it's the head that sells it. I mean, just look at that. That is Bebop. The purple mohawk, you would think, oh, this is supposed to be purple too down here. But if you go back and watch the cartoon, most of the time, this was the color of his skin. So that matches. Again, we get the heavy black lines doing the detail work right here, but the sculpt still is awesome. I mean, if you took away this paint job and gave it like a realistic look, I'm sure it would look fantastic too. Oddly enough, the glasses or the Captain Cold goggles or whatever these are, they are pegged on the side. They are a separate piece and they raise up and reveals kind of a... yes, Lord Bebop, we will do your bidding. That's damn scary. I am afraid for my soul right now. Let's drop that down. There you go. There's Bebop. Okay, we love you. This necklace is also a separate piece, but it likes to kind of ride over to this side. I think it's because of the bandolier pushing it. I want it to stay there, but it wants to go there. And then with Rocksteady, a little bit plainer, just kind of more of a beefy body. He doesn't have the amount of stuff that Bebop has hanging off his body, so It feels a little bit plain, but it's a little bit more free. It's less prep work to get him moving. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if there's some shared parts here. Well, no, maybe those are different arms. Or it's different paintwork on top. Rocksteady doesn't have that extra line right here, but that does feel just kind of painted on. Either way, it works. Like the cartoons didn't reuse animation cells from show to show. Have the same kind of bandolier over this shoulder. I don't know what this is. It's cool. It's a separate piece. In fact, this whole thing is a separate piece running down to here. Is it attached? Yeah, right center of the chest. But it makes it less plain. Like I said, the sculpt is a little bit soft on purpose, but this extra stuff on it brings out the detail. The belt is also a separate piece. You can rotate that around. I did have a problem with this shell right here. I think when I was trying to turn it, because you gotta have the buckle centered, right? My thumb slipped, hit this, knocked this completely off, but a dab of super glue, it's right back on there. That sits right beside the grenade, comes up around to this knife on his back. I don't think that's an actual knife. I think it's just a piece of plastic. Rocksteady does have more detail on his pants. There's the pockets right here on the front, and because of the color, and again, I can't stop singing the praises of these black lines enough. It makes it look like an animation cell in 3D plastic form. Less detail to the boots, but it's supposed to be that way, so I'm good with that. But the head, again, this is where it's at. This is the moneymaker. This is what we came for. And that is goddamn Rocksteady brought into real life. The eyes are kind of crooked, but being who this is, I'm okay with that. If it were a turtle, and I have had turtles with the crooked eyes, I would be upset about it. But with Rocksteady, no, that fits. Plus, you have to get dead on, straight on, in order to see it. Like I mentioned at the first, there's a little bit of prep work to be done before you can actually play and pose with these. Like I said, I knocked that off, had to glue it back on. Otherwise, I didn't have a lot of problem with Rocksteady. It was Bebop that is kind of stuck in places. It's almost second nature to open up the package and get the heat gun out and start hitting places. At first, the double elbows didn't want to go. They go fine now that I've loosened them up a little bit. But the biggie was the ankles, and even after heating it up and loosening them, you don't get a lot of movement because of how the shoe is sculpted. It comes up and over the joint, so you're not going to get a lot of range anyway. But you can work some tilt in, and a little bit of forward and back. Also, the hip swivels are tight as hell. Again, gotta work it loose. In fact, starting at the neck and working your way down, I would be careful. Work it, kind of move it, and if it's feeling like it's gonna tear, put some heat on it, then you'll go from there. And since then, I haven't had any problems. Looking at the articulation, I think there is a ball joint in the neck, but you can get him to look up. Shift it forward, bring it down. Side to side is really, really tough. It's more of a tilt top thing to look that way. Jaw is articulated. This was the big surprise for me. It's awesome. You can have them yelling at the toidles. It just adds a little bit more personality to a figure that has a lot of personality in the first place. Shoulders are hinge and swivel. Unfortunately, these turtle shells, the strap goes down around the arm, but they're also attached to the vest up here. You can come up and out, but you're not gonna... I hate to bring it up because, oh, see, popped it out. Bring it back down, you can peg it back in. So I guess if you wanted to get crazy movement, you can just let it ride, bring it up. That's not too bad. Little paint residue left over from the yellow, but... Swivel at the bicep. Double elbow, surprising amount of range there. Oh, well, that band is a separate piece. That's cool. Swivel side to side, rotation. Joint in the mid-torso, but... Oh, well, let's see what we can do here. It does allow for some swivel. You can come forward a little bit, back a little bit of tilt. Not a lot of range altogether. Hinge and swivel at the hip. The crotch cover is a rubber piece, so it gets out of the way. Can bring the leg up, back, out. Not bad at all. That's actually pretty impressive. Swivel at the thigh, hidden under that crotch cover. Double knee. Come on, baby. Oh, so close, but not bad at all. Swivel where the skin meets the pants right there. Hinge it out at the ankle, but like we talked about, the shoe gets in the way a lot. Then there's a forward-facing pin for a little bit of rocker action. For Rocksteady, pretty much the same thing. You can bring it up. He does come down a little bit more, which is cool because... And he seems to have a little bit more side to side. Not bad tilt though for a big old head. There's the mouth, which looks awesome because of the teeth and everything else. Hinge and swivel at the shoulder, unhindered. You can come up this far, rotate around, swivel at the bicep. Double elbow, again, surprising. Hinge side to side, rotation. The waist, kind of the same predicament as Bebop. I don't know if it's actually, well, there's some sculpt under there. But it's a little bit of forward back, a little bit of side to side, rotation. Hips, hinge and swivel come up to almost 90. Back, out. Watch that turtle shell. Let's have him kick this way. Not bad at all. Double knee. Again, so close. Rotation at the boot. Oh, tight. Ankle hinges back, ankle hinges forward, forward facing pin for some rocker. There are extra hands for accessories, but they are both the same sculpt. Well, let's see. Let me find the other one. Yeah, see, same sculpt for both, just different colors for their skin tones. There's 2 fists, there's 2 splayed out hands, then there's a grip left hand, either for accessories or the weight of the weapon, and trigger finger right hands. And these are super tight to pull out. A lot of paint caked on the pegs right there. But once you do pull it out, you just push the other one in, it goes on, snap. I think I mentioned it earlier, but be careful with this one. When you pull this, the chain likes to try to get away from you. Remember to hook it onto the plastic hook on the wrist, so at least it has something to keep it close. You just double up the chain, thread it back, and then pop your other hand on. I'm putting this one on and I'm leaving it. Other accessories include 2 of these rifles, so you can laser blast the turtles. I don't know if that voice is even close, but that's how I remember it in my head. There's also 2 of these pistols. I like the little red work right here. It just brings another color into the weapons, but even the base color and then the grays and the blacks and everything else, that just look great on here. And then it comes with a communicator with shredder right there on there, so you can have them calling back to home base, calling back to the boss. But there's only 1 of these, which is okay. One can hold it, one can be blasting. Nice little detail work, but at the same time, kind of flat, kind of plain, just like the cartoon. Communicator fits perfectly into the grip hand, but the weapons are a little bit harder to get in because of the hard plastic of the hands. Thankfully, you don't have to thread the trigger finger into any kind of trigger guard. Once you get it in the hand, it's there, and in fact, that may stay there forever. The rifle's a little bit easier because it doesn't have a guard at all. You just slip it right in. Done. And I'm sure the other grip hand is supposed to go around the barrel or something, but this is gonna be good enough for me right here. I'm gonna blast yous guys. That was more Welcome Back Kotter, wasn't it? Height-wise, Bebop is a little taller at 6 3/4 inches than Rocksteady's 6.5 inches. Like I said, I haven't gotten the Wave 2 turtles in the mail yet from Target, but here is, well, this is the San Diego set, but they're essentially the same as the Wave 1 turtles at Target. Bebop Rocksteady, awesomely large compared to the turtles, which is completely works for me. But not so large that they tower over the Foot Soldier or Shredder, but they are bigger, bulkier, more intimidating. To me, not having gone back and watched the cartoon in a while, this is perfect. They don't quite fit the pixelated look of were these the year before at San Diego? And this is kind of odd with the NECA movie turtles and the DC Collectibles Batman vs. TMNT Michelangelo. But again, I thought I'd throw them out there, just giving you options. And then here they are with the NECA comic book Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Donatello and the SH Figuarts Leonardo. These work together except for the heavy black lines. These are probably my favorite turtles so far, at least when it comes to sculpt, build, action figure. Kind of wish that had the black lines too. I could probably wish in one hand. So at the end of the day, it's pretty hard to deny that these are the Rocksteady and Bebop we've been waiting forever for. Sure, Playmates has done a couple of iterations, but I never liked them. Plus, they seemed like the wrong scale. They seemed soft, they seemed plain, they seemed too different from the cartoon. At least my cartoon from back in the 80s. These NECA versions absolutely nail it. There's a reason that people are scattering, are panicking, or it's the end of the world because they haven't popped up at their targets yet. Hell, I was the same way until Unparalleled hit me and he was like, hey. And I was like, yes, please. NECA has put so much love into these and it shows. The sculpt work, it's simple yet precise. Paintwork, the same. There is a little bit of shading right here, but the heavy lifting is done with the black lines. That just brings it all home. It makes you think, oh man, this makes me feel nostalgic. I need to get on YouTube and watch some turtles. But most of all, it makes me feel that NECA is in for the long haul. A lot of companies, well, okay, not a lot of companies, but we've seen a lot of versions of the turtles, and most of the time, they get past the 4 turtles, maybe a Shredder, maybe an April, and then it just kind of dies and they go on to something else. At least with this, with Bebop and Rocksteady, and they've shown a couple of other figures in this line, they want to keep giving us stuff, and that in itself is exciting. It's not just going to be there's a Turtles, there's a Turtles, there's a Turtles, there's a Turtles, there's a Turtles that we've had for a long time. It's here's a display full of different Turtles characters from the same source in the same style. I can't tell you how happy I am about that. The one thing missing here is Rocksteady's helmet, but I kind of feel like we're going to see. Surely they're going to give us another release of these unique sculpts like this. Do it pixelated for the video game or something? I don't know. I just feel like we're going to see these again. And you know what? I'll probably buy them again. Or enlist some help from my friends in order to get these on the shelf. So if you enjoyed the review, give me a comment down below, whatever platform you're watching it on. Much love to the Plus. They get videos a little bit earlier over there. We talk, we discuss, we have just fun. And that's the name of the game, fun. But wherever you're watching this, I'll catch you on the Fwoosh.